Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I am McAlphaning. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I would greatly appreciate that. And if you could, please click that like button, turn it into a rocket, and send it to the moon. So I had brought this idea up maybe about three, 4 months ago about artificial intelligence being utilized on the blockchain and combined with the blockchain, okay? And I had actually spoken about this in conjunction with IBM because IBM is doing a lot with artificial intelligence. IBM is doing a lot with quantum computing. Did you see that new processor they came out with? Unbelievable. And IBM has Stellar and HBAR that they're utilizing as their blockchains, okay? So I have played around with this idea, and now we have Ripple coming out, and we have this article here. It's the Ripple drop, right? It's on ripple.com, the Ripple drop machine learning on RippleNet, developers building on the XRPL and CBDCs on the XRP ledger. Now, wait, there's an interesting little tidbit here. Let's scroll down. What does it say here? It says Ripple's SVP of Engineering, Devraj Varadan, gives an update on RippleNet's artificial intelligence capabilities and what drives his team's rigorous approach to innovate. I told you this is going, if the blockchains, if the crypto banking coins want to remain in their leading position ahead of the banks, they must continue to innovate. They must continue to get better. I believe that just like what I saw with IBM, Ripple's team saw it as well. And they said, whoa, wait a minute. We can't let, although we're all kind of working together, Ripple, Hedera, Stellar, everyone's sort of working together. We're all one team. We cannot fall behind. We want companies to still desire XRP. We want companies to still salivate over the advancements, the advanced capabilities of RippleNet. So we better catch up, because if IBM combines artificial intelligence, I'm going to go out there and say quantum computing as well, with Stellar, with Hedera, they're going to be so far ahead. And also, let me add in, don't forget Starlight. 1 million transactions per second. Yes, Ripple had to take some action. Here we have them talking about RippleNet's artificial intelligence capabilities. That's massive. That's huge. They're telling you that they want to do this, that they're trying this out. And it says, and what drives his team's rigorous approach to innovate? If there's one common need across RippleNet customers, it's reliable, readily available liquidity. Devraj discusses the complex and nuanced environment created by constant global customer demand and the ways that he and his team are using machine learning to make liquidity available anytime, anywhere, to anyone in order to deliver a seamless user experience. And this is huge for adoption, mass adoption by the banks. Never think for a moment that banks are loyal. They are not loyal. Okay, so even though you might have a memorandum of understanding with them, they might be testing something out, they're always looking at something else. They want to make sure they're giving themselves the best possible opportunity, which means you better make yourself the most desirable pick. This is what Ripple is doing with XRP. They're hulking XRP up, they're building it up, improving it as much as they possibly can, mostly behind the scenes, but as you see, they're starting to leak things. They're starting to leak a lot of things on the improvements that they're trying to make to RippleNet to keep it the absolute best protocol possible for CBDCs, okay? And how they want the protocol to be used for CBDCs, which is very different than other protocols are going to be utilized. The capacity that other protocol are going to be utilized as far as CBDCs are concerned. You'd be surprised. Like I said, MBDCs and MCBDCs are coming. Some are going to be used for inflow. Some are going to be used for outflow. They're going to be combined together, congealed. Some are going to be used for their smart contract capability. So another thing, like I said, once you saw what Stellar just did with Starlight, plus 1 million transactions per second between two parties, this changed things a lot. I expect to have some news come out in the next 2-3 months about upgrades on Hedera, because that, I believe, in my humble opinion, that put Stellar above Hedera momentarily. Like I said, I expect Hedera to make certain improvements. All one team. However, we all must continue to advance. The more these companies advance, the better it is for you and I. The better it is for us to persevere over the legacy system. And what does it do to that price? If we persevere, what does it do to that price? Raise it up. Raise it up. That price is going to raise. Okay, it's going to raise. So these are all brilliant things that are happening. Very good for holders of the banking coins. Ripple should continue to advance. I want to hear more about their ideas. Let's go a little bit deeper. It says, machine learning addresses this multifaceted problem, bringing Ripple another step closer to providing the perfect customer experience on RippleNet. This is something I respect about XRP and Ripple. Instead of taking the route of the Bank of International Settlements and IMF, who have been doing a lot of projects with combining protocol together, Ripple's trying to perfect their protocol singularly. Okay. Yes, they're all about interoperability because they have to be, but they're a for-profit company, so they're incentivized to make sure XRP as a standalone product is the absolute best and can bring perfection on its own, no matter how institutions and banks want to utilize it. That's a great thing. So I respect that about Ripple. It's one of the reasons that I'm pretty sure XRP is going to have an extremely insane parabolic run. Once there's regulatory clarity and once that SEC case is over, I'm pretty sure. Let's go here. Okay, so then they have another little section here on Ripple.com's article. It says developers expand use cases on XRP Ledger, but just listen to this little tidbit here. It says, there are a number of reasons developers choose to build on the XRP Ledger, but Matt sees speed and consensus protocol at the top of the list of Ledger technology priorities. Like I said, they're going to have to continue to innovate when it comes to the speed. So don't rest on your laurels. And we as holders of the banking coin shouldn't settle on whatever the transactions per second are right now for XRP. No, push them to do more, to do better. Tweet it at them, email them, tell them, keep improving. They listen. This helps them to understand what you desire as a holder of banking coins or as an institution and as a bank. On this channel, we have a lot of people from banks and institutions that actually watch the video. So this is very important to be said. Reach out to Ripple and let them know to continue to improve. Speed as well. Don't settle for 2 to 3 seconds. Let's do it instantaneous. Let's get as fast as we possibly can. Push the technology to its limits. Continue to innovate. That is going to make XRP that much more desirable, that much more undeniable, whether it comes to governments or banks. And that makes that price go parabolic because mass adoption will be extremely easy. It will be extremely desirable to adopt it in mass. Okay. So XRP holders and Stellar holders should always be patting these people on the back when they're doing something that's innovative, and also encouraging them to continue to push these protocols to the next level. All right. So here is another little part of this article. I want you to pay close attention to this because the IMF had put out a tweet earlier about financial inclusion. That's hilarious hearing that from the International Monetary Fund. But look at what Ripple says. It's the same thing. It says the potential for greater financial inclusion is one of the strongest motivators to implement CBDCs. Let me translate that to you. Translate that for you. There's a lot of money being left on the table that has been left on the table and inaccessible for decades. And that money is life-changing wealth, is life-changing revenue for banks, for institutions, and for holders of the banking coins. It's so much money that it can just literally whittle away any debt you might have. It'll take you out of a negative and put you into a surplus, okay? It's that much money. So don't think that they're just being goody two-shoes when they say something like this. You know, financial inclusion is one of the strongest motivators. Listen, They're here to make money. We are here to make money. So yes, you want to do something good, but that's not the primary motivation here. Is to make as much money as possible, to have the best product as possible, to grow your company as large as you as is fathomable. Okay, that's what they're saying here. There's a lot of money on the table, and they want to scoop that money up. The only way they can do it is through this without losing a ton of money. Remember, we said before they were losing $120 billion. What is that per year? I think it was. We can go back to the other video to clarify that. But they're losing a ton of money with the system that they're currently running while leaving trillions of dollars on the table. Keep that in mind. All right, so let's continue on here. It says, persuading governments and central banks alike to explore the digital asset. Roughly 1.7 billion people globally are unbanked. 1.7 billion. This is just regular people, might I add. Keep that in mind. So we're talking trillions of dollars, just regular people, when we're talking about P2P, person-to-person, cross-border payments. This has nothing to do with B2B, business-to-business cross-border payments. Large banks, bank to bank, central bank to central bank. Listen. Much like the Fed, the central banks had their own form of currency that they would pass between each other. It's not like the currency that regular people were using, okay? To have any protocol be adopted by a central bank and have them passing these protocol back and forth at such a high transaction volume, as well as a high transaction value, that is going to make that price explode to such a mind-blowing degree. Okay, this is why most people are saying to themselves, listen, I don't care how low these banking coins go. I'm going to buy more. And even if I can't buy more, I'm not selling this asset and then trying to buy back in, because there's no telling when one of these could go parabolic. Yes, of course, we're waiting on regulatory clarity from the SEC in the United States. However, the rest of the world could go at any moment. At any moment, someone could roll out their CBDC. We've seen a lot of erratic behavior as of late, have we not? Right? Some countries that before had drugged their feet on CBDCs are now piloting at an exponential rate, testing these things out at an exponential rate. However, James believes that in order to achieve widespread adoption of CBDCs, financial institutions and blockchain companies must work toward providing reliable, consistent interoperability, taking into account the following factors: compatibility with existing payment schemes across countries. Okay, so this is something that we covered in the previous video, that the Bank of International Settlements was telling people it's going to take a few years to upgrade the old systems, which is perfectly logical. Their systems are so antiquated and they're set in their ways as far as workers are concerned. Okay, so we also read in another document where they said they don't want to overburden their workers or add anything extra that is going to put a strain on their workers or their system, which just means that we're used to how things are. We don't want them to change that much. We do want to benefit from a new system, but we don't want to have any type of negative from a new system, which is a little bit illogical, but this is what they want. Okay, so in that same way of thinking, they understand that they haven't upgraded their system in such a long time. It's going to take years for that process to occur, but compatibility is something that has to be focused on. How do we upgrade? Who do we bring in? Are we bringing in non-financial banking institutions to do this? Are we going to do this ourselves? So these are all considerations they have to make now, and they're in a rush to make them because they drug their feet for so long. So patience definitely is going to have to be had for anybody that wants to see that parabolic run from the banking coins. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen overnight. Of course, anything is possible. We have a lot of very meteoric things happening as of late, so you never know. But theoretically, it should take a little bit of time to set up the different infrastructures as far as upgrading software, educating the people who are going to be utilizing the protocol on how to use them. There is a lot that goes into that. It says efficiency of sending cross-border payments. Another bullet point, interaction between CBDCs and other forms of digital currencies. This is what MBDCs is all about. MCBDCs is having a multitude of different ways you can move this particular currency, all of them being interoperable, and all forms of digital currency, getting them on one messaging system, one accord, where everything can flow seamlessly in and out of one another. So essentially it will be as though there aren't a multitude of currencies, because of how seamless they flow. It will be like one mega system. And that is a muy linda, mi gente. Muy linda, mi gente. Let me tell you something. This happens the way that it's supposed to roll out, the way that it's looking right now. You're gonna be too rich. It's just how it is. You're gonna be too rich. Some people hold a ton of coins. A ton of coins. Imagine a parabolic run. Let me not get ahead of myself. I get too excited. Let's continue on here. So now let's talk about the IMF a little bit. This is from imf.org, okay? Its leader, Kristalina Georgieva, had a meeting recently with a lot of the leaders from Africa. We have seen a lot of protocol are doing big things in Africa. DeFi has been invading Africa. Stellar is in Africa, heavy. Cardano is also in Africa. Okay, we don't really discuss Cardano that much. I'm waiting to see a little bit more from them as far as actual developments. But crypto banking coins have been invading Africa and making corridors within Africa. Stellar has corridors in and from Africa. And I think the IMF is a little bit concerned about that because, like I said before, they haven't had access to these particular corridors as far as cross-border payments. Remember, they're telling you that there's so many unbanked people. That means they haven't had access to this, okay? So the IMF, I believe, witnessing what blockchain is doing, what the Stellar Foundation is doing, what Cardano is doing, and various blockchain companies are doing by entering Africa, setting up rails, setting up corridors, was concerned that it might be cut out of that money. And that is big money. Okay, Africa is a developing nation, but let's read, a developing continent, and the money that's going to be coming out of Africa in the coming decades will be mind-blowing. Anyone who could get in on the ground level now will grow with Africa and will have the opportunity to deeply ingrain itself within the African continent. And so those particular institutions and foundations are going to see exponential growth, and the capital that's going to be flowing through them will be mind-blowing. All right, so now also keep in mind the high population of the African continent. Keep that in mind. So as it grows and the capital that they're able to generate grows and more businesses are made in Africa, that's a lot of money to be left on the table. And blockchain say, you know what, we're going to go scoop that up. Just like there's a lot of blockchains scooping up money in Latin America. Everywhere that has been left out, crypto has made its way in. The foundations have made their way in and have been laying rails and building corridors. And the IMF sees that. So now that we've had Stellar doing business, a lot of business in Africa, we have the IMF having this African meeting. Let's just read this little piece here. It says, we recognized the importance of African nations having a seat at the table in discussions on issues that affect them in order to ensure global efforts to support them are as effective as possible. Listen. Don't worry. International Monetary Fund, continue to push with your experimentations with MCBDCs and you will have no fear. Clearly, the Bank of International Settlements and the IMF fear DeFi because with DeFi, they get cut out of this big pie. All right. Everyone else will be eating. That's a NFBI, non-financial banking institution. NFBIs will be eating like Stellar Foundation, Ripple, Algorand, even Cardano with their scan trust and traceability, VeChain, okay? They will be eating a giant piece of that pie. They will make so much money. It will be mind-blowing. The International Monetary Fund understands that. They must now, because you drug your feet for so long, You must now include yourself. You're inviting yourself to the party, knowing that over the years, you could have set up corridors. You could have deeply ingrained yourself within Africa as far as the cross-border payments. You could have funded the development of certain technologies that would have scooped that money up off the table, but you never thought someone was going to beat you to the punch. And the foundations have, the blockchain and crypto companies have beat you to the punch. So now you're inviting yourself to the table. You're saying, look, Africa, look, we care too. Let us have some of the money as well, right? That's what you're doing, okay? Trying to get your foot in the door, so to speak. I know this sounds crazy because it's the International Monetary Fund, but keep in mind, like I said, they're talking to the underbanked people they have never helped before. So with that kept in mind, you have to understand that they are still sort of new to trying to get into scooping up that money from the underbanked. While Stellar Foundation, Ripple, Algorand, this has been their mainstay from the beginning. This has been their main goal and purpose from the beginning. They just simply expanded outwardly into other things. So when it comes to this, blockchain is far ahead. And so the International Monetary Fund and the Bank of International Settlements, if they can't control blockchain, they have to invite themselves to the party. They have to integrate, That means the money is coming. That's what it means. The money is coming. They have to integrate. They have no choice, or they will suffer at their own hands in what they have built with their archaic system. If they don't integrate, they're going to lose so much money. They're going to continue to be in debt. The commercial banks are going to continue to drag them down because commercial banks haven't been doing well. They need this almost more. They need this almost more than the crypto community. So that's what I view this as. Let's continue here a little bit more. It says there was also broad agreement that reducing vulnerabilities, including those associated with the rising debt levels, are important priority over the medium term. Listen, the banks are losing so much money. It's disgusting. They know that they can negate a lot of those losses by integrating with the new system, the banking coins. Okay, so we saw that document they put out, and it said they were losing $120 billion by integrating with the new system. They would bring that down to $10 billion they will be losing yearly, right? However, I think that number is actually a little bit too high. It would be much lower. If you're utilizing, let's say, Hedera, Stellar, XRP, Algorand, Cello, any of these particular protocol, that number is going to be so much lower than 10 billion, in my humble opinion. Unless they're trying to layer something on top from the legacy system that's still going to make the legacy system some money, and thus is going to raise the cost of doing high volume transactions and high value transactions. Other than layering a piece of the legacy system on top, I don't see how it's going to be $10 billion, but that's probably what they're going to be thinking about doing. They want to still help their friends. They want to still have a piece of the legacy system survive. So they might try to layer something with the legacy system and keep that part, at least part of that old money flowing to those particular institutions. That was another concern that they had voiced, if you recall, right? Was that so many would be cut out of the new system because of how it operates. It doesn't require intermediaries. They voiced that in one of their documents as a true concern. And so that tells me that, yes, they want to keep a piece of that alive. And that's why they're going to upgrade rather than they're upgrading the old system rather than just doing away with the old system and bringing in the new system fully just utilizing that particular avenue of moving currency back and forth. Okay. So now we have more expansion of Stellar. Stellar has been doing an amazing job. The parabolic run, I believe, that XLM is going to have, I think is much higher than we all are estimating. I really believe that. They're into so many different things. They can do everything, by the way. They're not just for the people. That's not true. They can be for retail. They can be for wholesale. They have never said, we're just going to do this one thing. Never. they're doing it all. They're going to try to scoop up as much as they can, as any business should, and they will not acquiesce to anyone. Yes, the XLM protocol can be combined with other protocol for MCBDCs, MBDCs, but that doesn't mean that they're going to concede any type of position or market space to anyone else. Why would they? Interoperability is said so that all protocol can be used for all things, all banking coins. So XRP can be used for in and out flow. XLM can be used for in and out flow. However, what happens with an MBDC is, let's say how the RippleNet had an issue recently. That would not affect the in and out flow of banking coins whatsoever. And it's actually good that it happened now so they can remedy it before there's mass adoption. All of these little hiccups are very, very good. So then they can be weeded out and there can be more perfection brought about on that particular blockchain with that particular protocol before mass adoption. And this is something that banks and institutions like to see as well. How do you handle it if there's a problem? Have you resolved that problem? How good is the patching of that problem? Okay, and they're glad that it happened before mass adoption, just like what I'm saying, I'm pretty sure. But it doesn't negate from the benefits of utilizing that particular protocol, not one bit, not at all. So now we have Stellar, who's been doing an amazing job. They have put out this document on stellar.org. Results are out, the DFS Blockchain Bootcamp. Let's check this out. It's absolutely amazing. They're expanding so much. Every expansion gives you the opportunity to make more money when it has that parabolic run with mass adoption. Every expansion is good for us. Every expansion should be cheered. Makes our pockets that much fatter. So now we have Stellar's ready to be deployed. Okay, and it says Honeycoin is the first company. Honeycoin is a decentralized monetization and P2P platform for African creators and consumers. Didn't we just cover IMF in Africa? I told you, they see what Stellar's doing in Africa. They want a piece of that because if not, Stellar is going to dominate Africa. Okay, they're going to take over. You see, Akon was already building his A coin on Stellar. Stellar is deep in Africa, just like they're deep in Europe. And they stand to dominate. If no one else comes in, Stellar will dominate. That price is going to go crazy tall. That price is going to go through the roof if this goes according to plan. The International Monetary Fund is saying to itself, wait a minute, we want a piece of that pie. That's how big the pie is going to be. That's how big the money is going to be. That's why they had to have that meeting and let everyone know, hey, we're concerned too. We're here as well, because they're going to have to integrate. You saw the Bank of International Settlements had experimented with Stellar. Stellar was one of their finalists. Of course, consensus is in there because Ethereum is a popular product. But is Ethereum efficient enough to run a CBDC? Absolutely not. Is Ethereum, let's think logically, is Ethereum cheap enough for them to be saving money as far as how much you would be saving versus using the archaic legacy system? Absolutely not. Listen, if they like Ethereum, understand that they can switch the protocol that they use. They do not have to use these particular protocol if they don't want to. So although consensus is in there, why would you use Ethereum over Hedera, for example, when Hedera's transaction fees are almost non-existent? It's exponentially faster than Ethereum, and its smart contracts are either on par with or better than Ethereum. Its security is definitely much better than Ethereum because they're using the gossiping, a gossiping-based protocol, right? So gossiping is a particular way of storing data information where it looks insane. If you actually look up how the Hedera hash graph works, just check that out. And they actually have a little video. They show you of how the data is stored. It's mind-blowing. Why would you use that over Ethereum? No, it's logical in my humble opinion that yes, they use Ethereum. It's much easier at this particular time, but they would switch to Hedera in a heartbeat. Who is Hedera really working with when it comes to Visa, FIS, and all of these companies that are leveraging Hedera? Stellar. Stellar. So although consensus is making some movements, keep that in mind that they could easily switch from Ethereum to Hedera at any moment that they want. It just takes some education on, hey, there's a better product than Ethereum that does the same thing, but much better, much faster, much more secure, and much cheaper. This is about money. Keep that in mind. It's about money. There's no loyalty when it comes to money in institutions, okay? Now, back to Stellar. Stellar is deep in Africa. They're going to scoop up a lot of money in Africa. So now we have Honeycoin, a decentralized monetization and P2P, person-to-person, platform for African creators and consumers. During the bootcamp, they built a direct integration into Stellar's Horizon API and Anchor protocols in order to support secure, non-custodial wallets for their customers, as well as interfaced with adapters to allow users to link their existing wallets. This is very important because a lot of populations around the world, including in Africa, move from place to place. So you're going to move to wherever work is. If this country is better, we're going to go here. If this city is better, we're going to move here. So you can bring sort of your bank with you. So remember, these wallets that we might take for granted are really like banks. You're being your own bank when you custody your own crypto. Okay, so the people are able to be their own banks. This is very important and move wherever they can. It's very convenient, very advantageous to them. So I expect Stellar to do extremely well and ingrain itself deeply into Africa and grow with Africa, which means that for holders of Lumens, when there's mass adoption, when everything's up and running, that your money will grow over time. It's just one more reason why your money will grow over time. Well, there's a lot of reasons why Stellar money is going to grow over time, but it's just one more reason why your money will grow over time. Just one more catalyst, okay? One more thing to keep your eye on. So then we have Hover Developer Services Inc. /Stax. It says, Stax is a universal money app for Africa that enables users to access all their money. I have to reiterate this again. Do you see why the IMF had to step in? Do you see why the International Monetary Fund had to make their presence felt? Stellar is actively scooping up that money that the Bank of International Settlements and the IMF and the European central banks don't control and have never been able to access. The money that Stellar stands to bring in, if they can actually pull all of this off, and it goes off, it goes according to plan, they will become extremely rich company, an extremely rich foundation, right? As far as, okay, so they're nonprofit, but I'm talking about the money that's flowing through the blockchain would be unbelievable, okay? And that means, even though they're a nonprofit, what we're talking about is power. They will become a very powerful entity, very powerful. So it's not, don't think of terms of just the monetary aspect, but power-wise, they would have a lot of influence in Latin America, Africa, Europe. This is something the IMF and the BIS cannot have, because then they would lose influence. Once we have another NFBI, NBFI, non-banking financial institution developing a universal money app for Africa on Stellar. We have to keep an eye on these types of things. This is major. You're seeing You're seeing Stellar set up deep roots in a lot of areas. So let's just keep an eye on this. But that's why the IMF, if it has the IMF concerned, if the IMF is feeling like Stellar is, and it's just my humble opinion, but I'm looking at what they're doing. Everything coincides, right? If the IMF feels like they need to step in and make their presence felt because Stellar is doing that much in Africa, and in a lot of other places as well, but Africa is a real concern because Africa, it stands to just go parabolic, so to speak, in decades to come, okay? Who knows how many decades, but it's growing, and they're building there, and the money that stands to come out of there is unbelievable, just like Latin America. But if the IMF is concerned, that is cause for us to be very happy. That means Stellar's doing an amazing job, all right? And that price should go insanely parabolic. Theoretically speaking, of course, not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. We have another company, okay? Moneymie or /Bonafide. Bonafide is a wallet that lets users save and win prizes weekly in dollars. During the boot camp, pay close attention, they built a dollar savings app for the African diaspora. Stellar's taking over Africa. Stellar's taking over Africa. The parabolic run that Stellar stands to have, if everything goes according to plan, is absolutely mind-blowing. They are showing you that they're willing to take over. They're everywhere, everywhere. They were just at the White House, the government meeting in the United States with Denell Dixon. They have long legs in Europe, doing a whole lot in Europe, right? Project Stella, European Central Bank with Bank of Japan, Bank von der Haus, right? Oldest bank in Europe, building their stable coin on Stellar. Stellar's in Latin America, doing some things just like Algorand is. Algorand is real heavy in Latin America. I think Algorand is going to dominate Latin America as far as blockchains. Stellar's in there too, but not like Algorand. And Stellar is dominating Africa right now, building heavy. They just have to continue on this trajectory and continue to do well. But there we have another one. They built a dollar savings app for the African diaspora. So not only are they saving, but they're incentivized to use it by being able to win prizes. In developing companies, developing countries, that's huge. You want to incentivize the people. The people want a little bit more. They deserve a little bit more. And what does it do to that price if everyone is using Stellar? Raise it tall. Raise it tall. That price is going to raise. Every little bit is just frosting on the cake. That's all it is. We're going to use frosting on the cake now. It's just more frosting on the cake. That's it. Every little bit is brilliantly played. So here we have projects that demonstrate the drive to learn and implement new technologies quickly in their existing workflows. And we have WindPay. Get this, listen, Stellar is dominating right now. That price, whatever price it is right now, means nothing. When there's mass adoption by banks, nations, large institutions, actually any size institutions, that price is not staying at 24 cents, 28 cents. It's not. It's going raise it all. Muy linda, mi gente. That price is going to be so loco. People are going to think you're nuts when you tell them how much you made. I wouldn't tell them. I would not tell the people at all. Keep that private, because the money is going to be insane if everything goes according to plan. WindPay. WindPay is a super app aiming to be the Alipay for Africa. Money signs, money signs. Oh, listen, let's continue on the sentence. Helping users access various services and make payments online and offline in Ethiopia. Offline payments. XRP has the same thing. They're getting ready. You can use them anywhere. Offline, Stellar, XRP. They're going to dominate. I hold all of the banking coins. I've been saying this since I first got on YouTube. There's enough money to go around. There's enough money for everybody. The banking coins are going to go insane. All those people are going to get left out. I wouldn't be telling everybody I hold the banking coins, honestly. Like, this between me and you. Shh, keep it private. But I'm in the real world. I wouldn't go around just telling people, hey, I got some XRP. You should get some XRP. Hey, you should get some XLM, because when it goes parabolic, it's going to hit the news. It's like winning a lottery. And the news is going to be talking about XRP and XLM. And those people that heard you say that, they're going to look at you. And you don't know what they're thinking. And people will do anything for money, for riches, for as high as XLM and XRP could possibly go. Also, with your cold wallets, get a safe. Get a safe, protect it. Hide your safe. My humble opinion, not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Put your cold wallet into a safe and hide your safe. And you can talk about all the other crypto protocol, in my humble opinion. Who cares about Bitcoin? Who cares about Ethereum? Whatever. You want to talk about that? Fine. Everybody talks about it. But those banking coins, when they go parabolic, creep downstairs quietly. Wear your comfy socks so the floor doesn't even creak. You make any noise. And you open your safe. You open your safe and you could just look at that cold wallet and you know what you have. Oh, that heavenly music starts playing when you open your safe, knowing that you have HBAR, XLM, Algorand, Cello. Oh, crypto has smiled upon you. Just my humble opinion. Muy linda, mi gente. They are dominating in Africa. I mean, we could just keep going on and on and on. Oh, wait, here's something about Canada. Should we read that? Just very briefly, let's read about Canada. Pasapeer is a money transfer company based in Canada that helps customers facilitate remittance payments to their loved ones in Africa. Stellar. Oh, man. The Stellar Foundation is very serious about their ambitions to be the absolute best crypto rails. What's it due to that price? And this is just a snapshot. This is just a little bit of what they're doing. They didn't even put out the big ones. The big ones we can't talk about that we hear behind the scenes, but as crypto YouTubers, but we can't say anything. They didn't even put out the big ones yet. When you hear the big ones that they're doing, if they pull it off, if those deals actually go through, when you hear those, listen, I'm scooping up some more. Let me tell you something like that. I'm scooping up some every chance I can. That's just personally what I'm doing. You know, when the big news comes out, if they're able to pull off some of those deals that are being talked about behind the scenes, unbelievable. It's going to blow your mind. But I guarantee if it doesn't happen, you're probably not going to hear anything about those particular things. But just look at the little bit they put out here. This is big stuff. This is major because these are seeds that will grow. But at the same time, this is nothing compared to what they're trying to do. Nothing. So now that you have that information, what are you going to do with it? I know what I'm going to do with it. So until next time, let's get to the money.